Hey everybody. It's Wednesday, I don't know, something. Come on, watch. It's not going to tell me. 13th, 12th, 17th, 104th? I don't know. Anyway, we're here in the kitchen with Ari. I know an unusual place to start, but Ari just decided he wanted some love. What I'm really here for was this, where Rue and Gambit have been playing a funny little game together. It might be almost over now. It looks like he's won. They were playing and wrestling, and I took a long video of that before we started today's close-up. It looks like he's still playing a little bit. She's a very good mom. So as you can see, Rue is wearing a suit and also a gambit. It's big fashion this season. The reason she's wearing the suit is so that she stops nursing her kids who are way too big to need it, and her caloric intake is a bit low given the nursing. So this is an attempt to get her to sort of put on more weight and keep some of those calories that she's eating for herself. She doesn't need to spend all that time caring for these little kids anymore. I should say all that energy. It's not so much about the time. Anyway, she's real sweet though. She just spends all of her time trying to take care of the kittens. Muriel's a little bit more sort of, catch as you can. She'll come in, go, and she takes very good care of her kittens, but just, a little less attentive, I guess, than Rue here is. Rudio, hey, that's a good one, Lady Dragon Strike. I like that. Except there's not too much motion for this Rudio. Kind of a rest. Anyway, so Gambit and all the other kittens and cats here at the Academy got their medication this morning. They're on metronidazole. Everybody's on metronidazole. And metronidazole, as you probably know, is your standard antibiotic. And it's the kind of antibiotic that you would choose to use on a kitten or a cat with gastrointestinal issues. So we've had some bad poops. And the stool samples are coming back all clear, plus we've already done some deworming. So everybody's on Metro to see if that helps clear up whatever might be going on and gives them good poops again. And I'm happy to report after just a couple days of Metro, it seems like it is actually helping quite a bit. It's really taken us someplace, so that's good news. I know there's some fosters out there that I've seen, because we've fostered for a lot of different shelters. There's some shelters that have a protocol for their fosters that just includes giving metronidazole prophylactically to every kitten, whether they need it or not, which is not, I don't think that's a bad thing. I know, there may be some argument about antibiotic use and overuse and, that kind of stuff, but I don't know. All I know is that it does tend to cause kittens to have better poops and better weight gains, and what's not to like about that? But I do think that those are mostly fosters that take in kittens that are already born, that have been out in the world and had a chance to get some serious infections, as opposed to us, where all the kittens are born here. Well, most of the kittens are born here and don't usually have a chance to bring anything with them. So I don't know that we're going to start giving it prophylactically, but it's nice stuff to have. The problem with it, of course, is that it tastes awful, and kittens, of all the different medicines that you can give kittens, Metro is one of those that they really hate taking. But we're doing it just fine. Everybody's getting it just fine. So there you have it. I saw some people have asked how I'm feeling and how my back is doing. I'm feeling pretty good most of the time, most of the day. It still happens, though, if I sit down like I am right now. Usually puts me on a timer for I don't know, going and lying down for a while, because it just sort of builds up. So we're working on that, but I know that's not the thing to focus on. The thing to focus on is that I'm doing much, much better every single day, and well enough now to get around and do all this Academy stuff that needs to be done, which is good because DJ's not on vacation anymore. But you still might see a lot of her around because she is on an elective that is, I think, going to be mostly working from home when she is. So that's convenient too. So I was saying everybody's on metronidazole, but just to give you the full report, everybody's on metronidazole, and then the mom cats are also, well, the mom cats are on Serenia. I don't know that Rue needs it anymore. I should probably stop giving it to her. She was on it because she was vomiting for a couple days, but she's probably fine. So maybe we'll take Rue off the Serenia. But Mural is still on Serenia and also on, she's getting amoxicillin, a little bit stronger, more general purpose antibiotic. And the reason is we just got the results this morning. Her blood work shows that she does officially have a mild, the doctor characterizes it as a mild pancreatitis. So it's not especially bad, but that's what we're dealing with for her. And I think for her, we're just going to keep giving her Serenia, which is supposed to help a lot with pancreatitis. Not with the curing of it, but just with the symptoms of it. And then also the amoxicillin, like I said. And I think we're also have her on famciclovir, which may also not be necessary now that we've sort of identified the problem. I'm not sure. But I've been talking to the doc about it, and we'll get that all sorted out. You can see this pod is very popular. The pod, this is actually the second pod. The first pod that we had went through the washing machine and did not survive, so we had to replace it. Actually, I shouldn't say we had to replace it because someone sent this in for mailbag as a replacement, which is very kind of them. I don't want to say who I think it was in case I'm wrong. We'll just say someone. If you've been watching the regular Kitten Academy live stream, then you probably have noticed that we keep moving around the cameras and the things in the room, trying to get the perfect view on everybody. And I think we're doing pretty well right now, since they all tend to congregate in this corner of the room where the beanbag used to be. We've set up all the beds there and a camera that gets it. And there was actually some time last night when you could count all 12 kittens on the stream. So that's, the ideal is sort of have them all on the camera all the time. That was a good one. But we're working it out still, and there's plenty of time when they're not all visible. But we're trying what we can do. You can see Tommy's in here playing with everybody. He's been playing with them all morning. He has endless energy until he decides it's sleep time, in which case he sleeps like a rock. So Tommy's one of those guys he's all on or all off. There's no in-between setting. Well, maybe when he's nursing. He does, and nursing, I should point out, he doesn't nurse on Mural or Rue, but Tommy does nurse on our blanket on the bed in the master bedroom. There's one particular blanket that's got this weird little fuzz on it, and he likes to just sit there and he nurses on it for hours. It's very cute. He gets it all wet. It's become the joke between DJ and I that he's washing the blankets for us. We don't even have to put them through the washing machine anymore because Tommy's got it all covered. And he does get it all soaked. But it's real cute to see him being sort of, kittenish instead of just being this like endless energy, endless bitey energy, I guess. Speaking of biting and Tommy, though, he is doing so much better. DJ and I haven't done as much of the clicker training as I ought to since I've had this back injury, but I plan on getting back to the clicker training ASAP. But we are still doing all the standard training with him, which is stuff like, not letting him bite us ever. And if he does seem like he's going to try to bite us, or if he does successfully bite, then we sort of stop the play immediately, just stop playing. And no, you're not going to have fun if you're going to bite, which is, about the best we can do, I think, to teach a cat that lesson to not do something. And it's not an extremely effective way of teaching, but if you're very consistent about it, and we try to be, it does have a great effect over time. And I do feel like Tommy's showing a huge improvement. He used to bite to hurt. Like if he was going to bite you, he was doing it in a way that would hurt a lot and seemed like it was almost deliberately designed to hurt quite a bit. And then he wouldn't take any correction for it. And I'm happy to say that so far, that is completely over for us. He no longer does that at all. He will still kind of bite like other cats do, but at this point, like I'm more likely to get a bite from Gimmick or Gambit than I am from him. And these guys, and those are just standard little kitten chomps that aren't meant to do any damage. Just like there you go, right there, just like that. So Gamby does like to do a little biting too, and we've got to start teaching him the lesson, but he knows not to bite hard. He just sort of puts his teeth on you. You see that? Now, we do try to train them out of that, and using this as an illustration is not doing him any good, but we do try to train them out of that, but this is the sort of level of biting that is fine. He's being super gentle, and he's not trying to hurt me at all. He's just trying to play a little game. And that's where Tommy is for us now. Tommy is mostly just trying to play a little game, and he knows the difference, and that's great progress. Although, as you can see, I think right now, another good example of what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it, he does still get carried away when he plays with the other kittens because he's just got so much energy, and he doesn't necessarily know how to respect them when they're telling him to stop. So he still has to get timeouts from the other cats fairly often. And it is just about time for him to get a timeout from these guys. Tom out, as we've been calling it. A little Tom out. So as soon as we're done with the close-up, I'll be taking him away for a rest. And he tends to take a big nap all afternoon. So that, I'm sure, is what he's going to do today. No different than any other. He hangs out upstairs with DJ on the master bed, and he nurses on the master bed. And has a good time. He's got his pod up there, and he can just chill out with all the toys that he brought with him from New York. Which he still enjoys, actually. He's especially that otter. I think I see him with the otter most often now. We also have that stuffed cat that was sent in for him during mailbag. And the stuffed cat, I don't know if it was sent to be comforting or what, but it makes an excellent wrestling partner when he's all hyped up and he wants to just bite stuff. We just sort of attack him with the stuffed animal cat, and it gives him something that's perfectly acceptable for him to fight and wrestle and bite all he wants. And he does. So it works out really, really well. It's a great idea for a cat that is too much energy, is to have something that you can use on hand whenever they get to be too excitable to let them just sort of get it out. You know, like a big run on the running wheel, or you've got a toy feather that they like on a string, and you zoom it around until they're all worn out. Or in Tommy's case, we use both of those techniques and many others, like the big cat that he can wrestle. So, anyway, there's Hijinks taking a nap. Here is Scrawl, tiny small Scrawl taking a nap. He just woke up because I'm looking at him. Her. I keep calling Scrawl a him. Scrawl and I think Splotch too. I keep calling them hims, but they're both girls. Little Sprawls. This is the tiniest kitten at the whole academy. Same age as the others, has a little baby face when she opens her eyes. And you can see there's a little bit of color that she has, even though I keep describing her as being gray. It's just because she doesn't have nearly as much color as her sister, Splotch, does. But Scrawl and Splotch, I think, are both technically Torbies because they have that real tabby pattern, but they've got a little bit of extra color that I think some people would say makes them a Torbie. I'm not really sure when you get technical about the coat colors like that, but none of our kittens come with any sort of pedigree, so you sort of just, you get whatever they look like, that's what they are. They're all rescues, in some sense anyway. They're having a lot of fun with that tissue paper. That tissue paper, by the way, is the same tissue paper that the guys at Crunchyroll sent to us. If you remember, the Crunchyroll people have sort of been friends of ours for a couple of years. They're real nice people. And they sent us some Crunchyroll orange tissue paper for a Crunchyroll orange tissue pit, which just happens to have come at a good time because it's also Halloween orange, and it's perfect for these kittens, isn't it? So you can see that's with the pink color, that's Sham, the girl, and then the white collar is Gimmick, the boy. I know they look real similar, although you could tell them apart without the collars, not just by gender, but because Gimmick, the white one, has a white spot on the very bottom of his belly, right towards his tail end, I guess, and then also under his neck, but that's kind of hidden by the collar now. And then Sham is just pure black. They're so sweet. These little black kittens are so sweet. They're definitely like the most social of all 12 kittens, 13 kittens that we have in right now. The little black kittens are all very, very extra social. And that's compared to the rest of these 13 kittens that are already really, really social kittens. But those little black kittens really take the cake. You know, you hear from a lot of people, there's this sort of myth that black kittens are hard to get adopted. And that is just a myth as far as I'm aware. We've never had any trouble getting black kittens adopted. And I've heard it said that the reason that you hear that black kittens are harder to get adopted is just because they're more common. So you see more of them at the shelter. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what the truth of the situation is. All I can say is my own experience. Black cats are awesome, completely awesome and lovely and not that hard to get adopted. People know they're awesome and want them. My mom even foster failed after fostering for quite a while. Black kittens are the ones that she chose to foster fail. And hi, look at me. That's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, looking over these kittens, trying to get them on the film, camera, whatever, no film. Anyway, my point was going to be, I think people know that black kittens are pretty great, and we've never had any trouble getting them. So, and this group of black kittens in particular are pretty great. So this is Etch, and who is that in front? I didn't check the collar while I was doing that. Is there a collar? Is that Splotch? I can't tell now who that is in front of Etch. Let's take another look together. Hang on, use the camera to see. Can I see the camera from here? I can't see anything. Okay, but my head's in an angle now where I can see the blue collar. So the little blue collar means that is Caper. So that's Etch and Caper, and I guess it's worth pointing out how cute that is that they're snuggled up because Etch and Caper are from different moms. Of course, Etch is Mural's kid, and Caper is Rue's kid. And look at that little arm brotherly love between the two classes. That's so sweet. Now you can see the blue collar. It's so sweet the way that they have just become cute little friends. All the classes, I don't think they even make a distinction anymore. I think the moms have even lost track of who's who. Of course, it's easy for us right now because all of Mural's kids are wearing collars. I mean, all of Rue's kids are wearing collars, and all of Mural's kids are not yet. But they're pretty much due for it. I think it's time to get those collars on both sets of the kittens. Of course, we would have to at any rate, because I'm pretty sure, I'm not looking at the calendar, I'm pretty sure it's next week that they're all going in for their first vet appointment. And we need to have the collars on them by then, just so the vet can know for sure who's who. And that's usually our milestone for the collars. So yeah. We're going to have to get collars on the little kids soon. That'll be fun. This is Hustle. He is the long-haired kitten from Rue's class. I think you can see how floofy he is. Like, he's got an extra halo floof all over that the other kittens in his class don't have. Of course, all of Mural's kids are long hairs, but he's the only one in Rue's class as far as we can tell. He might actually turn out to be more of a medium coat too, I'm not sure yet. But he's definitely got a lot of extra floof that the rest of his brothers and sisters do not have. Brothers and sister. Well, sisters, they're all combined, right? Whatever. So that's little Hustle. Hustle has become a real character because, you know, he started out with his back legs. He would always have like frog legs where they'd just be splooted out to the sides. And then he would drag himself around more than walking when he was tinier. As you can see, he's clearly gotten the hang of getting around properly, but he does still tend to have his hips sort of rotated outward. His feet kind of point out, and it's funny. He's also, you know, like you just see him napping all the time. And when he's playful, he's really playful. But when he's just kind of disinterested, he'll just sit and watch everybody else play. It's very calming to watch this little guy. That's Hustle. There's Gambit again fighting his sister Sham. That's actually Hustle is actually playing with Gimmick. That's Gimmick in the pod. That's the most fun game. That's one of the reasons these pods are so fun is they make a noise when you scratch on them, and kittens can play on both sides of them, and that's super fun playing with something you can't see. Oh, really fun for a kitten. Tracking them by sound, you know. Sham, you gonna do that again? Sham was just freaking out on that tissue paper. Maybe if I move some. I don't think he's out right now. Is Logan out? Okay, that's fine. We can't have Logan and Custard both in the house at the same time right now. Their relationship has really devolved in recent months to the point where if they see each other, it's conflict. It's instant conflict. So that's something that I'm going to need to work on in the long term, that we've been working on one way or another, you know, in some sense, trying to sort them both out. But we're not making rapid progress on it, but we're not trying either. You know, like if I were going to get serious about it today, I'd probably start the same way that we introduced Mew to Rue to Mural, which is, you know, a lot of seeing each other through the door while being given treats, and then standing near each other while being given treats, and then, you know, eventually realizing that they can be together and it's not a bad experience. I think that's really the point that those two are at. We're spending all of our time trying to make up for past bad experiences, which is why it's so important if you have cats that you're trying to introduce and they seem like they're going to get into conflict, you have to break them up and take them away and let them reboot and not have that conflict. Every time that they get into an actual conflict, instead of just looking like they're going to start one, that you know, adds like negative points to their relationship that can take a long time to get over. So when you're introducing cats, the number one thing is to try to sort of be aware of what they're thinking, and when it's getting to be too much for them and one of them is about to turn it into a real conflict, that's when you want to break them up and you know, try again another day. And that's how you do it. You've repeated days and days and days of stopping before there's a conflict, you know, just letting them have a good experience together, just the good stuff, and then do that again and again and again and again, and eventually they're like, that guy's not so bad now. I always get treats when he's around. And just like Mural and Rue, they end up being friends. You know, if you remember, well, Mural was okay from day one, of course. Mural's very easygoing about other cats, but Rue, very suspicious, and she would attack the door the first time that she saw Mural through the door. She attacked the door, got all hissy and angry. But with repeated introductions and treats like I'm talking about, not letting them get into conflict, even attacking the door is sort of letting it go too far. So anyway, lots and lots of repeated, very brief sessions. You know, you don't go a long time. You get them together, you give them treats for 2-3 minutes, and then you separate them before they have a chance to get angry about it. And it probably took us like a month of that before we brought them together, right? Oh, Sham and, buddy. Oh, this is another good point I wanted to make, though, which is when you see Tommy in here causing all of his trouble, you'll notice that the cats sort of meow and act irritated. But they do that with each other, too. So it's not all, like every time you see one of the kittens yell while Tommy's attacking them, it doesn't mean that Tommy's out of control. That's a real normal thing to do when they're sort of playing and establishing dominance, and that the things that kittens do, like Sham is doing right now with little Scrawl. Those are normal kitten interactions that are perfectly fine and healthy and nothing to worry about, even with the little Mew. So that's an additional challenge in sort of gauging where. Like it's so cute to see Scrawl sort of fight back, because Sham is at least twice the weight of Scrawl there. But Scrawl has no fear. Now Scrawl's tail's going. She's showing how irritated she is. You want to tell us more about it, Scrawl? Do you? Come here, tell us more about it, sweetie. What are you thinking? Yeah, Rebecca, I just looked at the chat here. Rebecca, are you surprised the kittens haven't explored the house more? I am completely surprised. Now, it wasn't a big surprise that we brought them down here and they weren't exploring it on the first or second day because they are actually a little younger, especially Mural's kids, a little bit younger than we normally bring them down here and start exploration. Not a big surprise that they weren't exploring, but we've been down here for well over a week now. I think this is, we're almost at 2 weeks down here. And I'm just flabbergasted that they don't spend more of their time out of the room. They must really love each other and their moms and their safe space and feel entirely fulfilled because they do very rarely leave. Now, we're seeing it more and more, and we're encouraging it more and more for them to go out. DJ had several of them playing in the living room for a long time yesterday. The majority of them went out and explored the cat run together yesterday. Of course, they need a little coaxing to get out there, but that was fun. But I am really surprised that they're not following us all over the house. I will tell you this, Gimmick is like I was saying, the little black kittens are even more social than the rest, who are already very, very social. And Gimmick and Caper, Gimmick and Gambit seem to sort of be taking the vying for first place as far as that sociability goes. So Gimmick follows me all over the house whenever he can, and that's super sweet. But when we go up the stairs, he's not 100% on the stairs. So at first, every time I'd go up the stairs, he'd get up the first 2 steps to the landing, and then he'd just sort of stop at the landing. Yesterday, he followed me halfway up the stairs. He got all halfway up the stairs. Very big for him. The steps are bigger than he is. So halfway up the stairs, big progress from Gimmick. But Gimmick's the only one to, really try that or go so far. And then most of the rest, like I said, hardly come out of the room at all. Just a little bit here and there. All right, good job covering that food. Good job, Rue. You got it covered. Nobody will ever find it under that tissue. So, if I have to summarize today's news and everything, first off, everybody's on medicine, but most of it is just sort of prophylactic. We're trying to make sure that they all have good poops and good weight gains, and I'm happy to say that right now they all do. The only exception to that, of course, is Mural, who has diagnosed with a mild case of pancreatitis, which we're also treating. So the bottom line about the health of everybody is I'd say it's actually very good. There's nothing serious that we would need to be worried about from anybody. Then the rest of it is that these kittens are so friendly and so social, and the 2 families are so integrated. It's just wonderful to see these well-adjusted little kittens. They're fantastic, and even Tommy is getting remarkably well-adjusted lately. So really, really good that way. I probably would say to anybody that wanted to adopt Tommy that you need to plan to have a little bit of extra time and energy for him. And he'd be great with another cat, but only if that other cat needs as much play as he does and sort of has the right attitude. Otherwise, though, all that play, all that energy that Tommy has is going to be up to whoever adopts him to help him run it out all the time. It's a very important thing to do. If you adopt a kitten, it's super important to know you've got to spend time every day playing with them and, helping them run down all that boundless energy that kittens have. Otherwise, they're going to start finding ways to do it themselves, and it's not always going to be ways that you like. So that playtime is just way more important than ever, and that's why a lot of people that adopt kittens in pairs or with their moms from us, they have a much easier time of it, because that those kittens that come from the same family are going to be able to run each other down every day just fine without any sort of negatives coming out of it. Saves you just a little bit of trouble. Of course, you still got to do the bonding with them. You still got to play, but it sure takes a lot of the load off. Tommy's a good reminder of that same thing for us, because as much work as we do for the kittens, almost all of our kittens turn up with their moms, and that means less work for us. The moms do take a lot of that burden from us. And then when a kitten like Tommy shows up without a mom, it turns out it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder of how much energy a kitten has and how much time you have to spend sort of making sure that they learn the right lessons when they're young. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is Tommy's doing great and making great strides, and we love having him here. And And we definitely encourage people to adopt kittens in pairs because they take a lot of work, and way more work if you adopt them individually, believe it or not. Okay, well, I got to wrap it up. Plenty of things for me still to do today. God, it's a sort of a long, late start. Medicating 13 kittens and their 2 moms takes a lot of time out of my morning. So now that I've finished all that work and this close-up, I got to enjoy a little close-up with you guys in between, so nice little break. But now I get to go do my chores, and that'll be fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. Thanks for joining the kittens this morning. I know they appreciate it. I hope I did an okay job of trying to show you most of them. Look at that, we didn't even get to the real torties today. That looks like a squiggle to me. Is that squiggle? I can't tell from this angle. It looks like it is. And then this one over here must be Trace. Sham's finally settling down. And here's Rue with hijinks. Oh, and look at this little baby face looking right at us. Hi, you watching us now? Nobody will find you in there. Very cute little scrawl. Hustle. Got our gimmick playing with my shoe. You know, it occurs to me, I don't think that we saw Mural at all. Let's just take a quick look to see if she's out in the living room somewhere. If you want to keep watching all these kittens, you can tune into the Kitten Academy live stream on YouTube. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, hopefully always with cameras pointed at those little kittens right in that room so you can see them. Well, always for the next couple months, and then different kittens. This is Mural, by the way, the other mom, taking a little nap in here. She's the one with the pancreatitis. She's doing very well for it, though. Don't let the fact that she's taking a nap right this minute fool you. She's up and around and having a good time and taking very good care of her kids, a little too good. In fact, some of them, like Squiggle in particular, I think I might have said the wrong name for Squiggle just a minute ago. Squiggle, that the tortie that we were looking at in the condo. Anyway, Squiggle, what was I going to say, has figured out how to worm her way in under the suit. Squiggle puts her whole head through this leg hole and then starts nursing with her whole head in there. It's ridiculous. But a little bit of nursing like that is not enough to worry about. We're just trying to reduce the calories spent on kittens, like I said. So it's working out very well. All right. Yeah, I don't know if somebody said a red eye, but her eyes are actually looking pretty good. There are some red eyes here and there because that's one of the things that we're working on. And Mural, came in with that thing that was sort of bothering her eyes and nose. So red eyes have not been entirely absent, but right now everybody's looking very good. Okay. Now I'm really done. I'd love to talk to you guys some more, but plenty to do today. So I will see you for another close-up on Friday. And until then, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful week. All right, say goodbye to everybody, Mural.